Alright guys, welcome back to one of the semi-final games of the GPT.
We have our two competitors here. We have Nyx versus Scribble. Nyx is on a mono instance deck. So 5-color, just a bunch of very good instants. You know, we're talking Cosmic Sinkhole, Ready for Anything, End of All Things, Diong's Displeasure, just a bunch of very good instants. And then Scribble is on a Jeskai control list with all of the cards that come with that territory, Void Flares and Sinkholes and
Did we tell them to start? Because they're pausing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, tell them to start.
Alright.
Alright, let's see how they mulligan. That way I can actually hover over some of the cards so that people know what the cards do. Because otherwise, it's pretty awkward.
There are some cards in these deck lists I'm not too familiar with. There's a Wisdom of the Ley Lines in Scribble's deck, which is not a card I think I've seen played before.
What's that card do again for the people at home? Because they probably haven't seen that card either.
Yeah, Wisdom of the Ley Lines it's 2 and a blue. You draw a card for each color or mana spent to cast it, and then you discard a card. So
cool.
The idea is it's a 3 mana discard 1 for 3 innocent speed. It's gonna be a fascinating game. It's kind of instant heavy deck versus instant heavy deck.
Those always lead to the coolest games, right? Because there's so much things to think about, so much things that both players can do.
Yeah, Scribble's got more actual threats, but like Nyx has, I guess, Mind Rip to get like.
Oh yeah, Mind Rip, right? That card. That's such a decision-heavy card.
Closest thing to a win con here. I mean, Cosmic Coalescing too could get potential win con on the board. I don't know. There's Frozen over in the board too.
Oh yeah, that thing. Right. That's hilarious.
If Scribble gets a creature token somehow through like some way, I don't know how, but then it would turn into simply losing. I guess you could do it like Embodied Soul becomes a creature and then you fuck it.
Both players have drawn their opening hands, so that took a while.
Scribble can't keep this, I don't think. Up Plains in a colorless land with a bunch of.
Yeah, this would be great if they had a blue source, but they don't.
Yeah. Nyx is keeping and will Mabel. I mean, 4 lands, counter magic. There's a back burner in there.
Well, this is one of the situations where Mabel is or first mates are really good when you draw a hand with. Wait, did they bottom a non-land for?
They bottom a Void Flare, which
I feel like you should bottom a land for the Mabel, but what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, Void Flare is pretty weak in this matchup.
Well, it kills. Actually, let me check their Planeswalker count.
It doesn't kill a Johnny because it can only do 3 damage. So a Johnny would have to minus, which I very rarely see.
So Scribble keeps a hand with 2 Bottled Lightnings. Does Nyx have a way to deal with the Bottled Light? Yeah, Diong's Displeasure.
Yeah.
Which could be a good thing or a bad thing because the Bottled Lightnings can just eat up the edict from the Diong's Displeasure.
Yeah.
So both players start off with Opalescent Palace.
I'm gonna go Mountain Bottled Lightning.
Turn 2 Bottom Lightning. So Scribble is aggressor here because if Scribble manages to get to 8 research counters and Eureka, they can make a masterpiece. Actually, do you want to explain what the masterpieces are? Because I forgot what they do already.
So Masterpiece is a mechanic from Discoveries of Akivia. The way it works is that there are cards with Eureka. They give you a research counter if you cast a spell that turn at the end of every turn. When you get to 8, you get one of 3 Masterpiece tokens. One of them is, let me pull them up here. Should be able to look in Rice. They're typed. So one of them is Cultivating Spheres, which is a extra card every turn, an additional land drop each turn. One of them is Mirror of Possibilities. It lets you pay 3 whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell or a creature enters to copy it. And then Thrice Folded Lotus is a Gilded Lotus that you can pay 3 and tap to deal 3 damage with. So the idea, I imagine, is to get out that Thrice Folded Lotus, pay 3, tap, do 3 damage, and just kind of keep doing that until the opponent is dead.
Are you sure Thrice Folded Lotus is what Scribble is going for here? I feel like Cultivating Spheres is better, right?
Well, you need to win the game somehow.
But you also want to draw extra cards in this matchup, right? This is a control matchup.
But you also need to win the game.
Right.
Do I still it's just 1 card per turn, right? On the spears?
I think so, yeah.
Which really isn't that much. Maybe depends on the situation, just off mana spots. I don't know if Scribble has that many major mana sinks. I guess they have like Seekers of the Quality Quad, which they can dump mana into if they want.
So Scribble gets their 4th land and Sandrine's Command. What can they fetch off that thing?
Lots of things. Void Flare, Spell Pierce, kind of I imagine they might just even fetch like I don't know. I mean, do you get like Secrets of Corelite Court here to have it set up?
I mean, that's not a horrible idea, right?
So they're gonna Johnny Enlightened here.
Nyx
Which
counters.
we'll get Anti-Magic.
You're not
So
sure I'm in love with Slimy Johnny there. I mean, admittedly, the Shanjuns doesn't really threaten anything. Like, if you just Shanjuns on Nyx's end step, they probably just let it happen, I'd have to guess.
well, I mean, what would you fetch off the Sandrine's command if you didn't play Johnny there?
Yeah, that's kind of the question. I mean, you can find studies in scientific theory, which is okay, I guess. But Shanjun's having kind of 3 brick modes in this matchup. Well, I guess not quite 3, because Nyx has some graveyard interaction or graveyard value. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can snipe a Mabel, I guess, if you really want to.
yeah, not the biggest deal. Nyx's mana situation is a bit awkward with these Shugendria Sanctuaries not being able to cast Mabel.
Right.
Yeah, she can't.
Would love to be doing that to help find the 5th line drop.
Mm-hmm.
Does Nyx just want to throw off a Void Flare just because?
Oh no.
They're
Oh,
gonna
what?
kill the Ball Lightning before Scribble can build up more Eureka.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense because you really don't want Scribble to get the Masterpiece, right? Because then it's...
Well, the thing is that Dang's Pleasure also just answers the Masterpiece with the bounce mode.
Yeah, because you can just
Oh,
bounce the Masterpiece.
Huh.
Like the wit in Constructed, especially the thing about Eureka is that it's not actually that scary as a big in-game threat. I mean, it's good, but it's definitely answerable.
Maybe Nyx just wanted to do something because otherwise they felt bad about passing the turn.
I think that's it. I think you're right on the money. So,
But yeah, Nyx is not getting anything useful right now. They can Mind Rip next turn in order to grab one of Scribble's 1-drops. In fact, they're going to Mind Rip the Sandrine's command and then, reverse card them by grabbing a 1-drop.
it's not like there's any 1-drops to get.
Yeah, like the
You could get you could get Embodied Soul.
Oh, Embodied Soul.
That's actually not bad. It's a one
I guess
of.
Nyx does have a Nebula on white, so they can animate it.
Wait, why did Scribble not grab Embodied Soul off the Sandrine's command last turn then? Like,
Scribble hasn't cast one yet.
Or they could have cast Sandrine's command, right? Because now there's actually something to grab with it. That's actually actively good.
Well, the only time to do it would have been in response to Dang's Displeasure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you don't cast engines there. I mean, you could, I guess, but
like Sandrine instead of Johnny.
There's nothing that's going to stop the Shanjin's command in response to. Nothing's going to stop the Shanjin's command in response to Displeasure, though, because the only 1-drop counter is Sinkhole, which you have an extra mana because 5. So
I mean, even here, do you cast engines?
I mean, you're not doing anything otherwise, so might as well.
Oh, I guess just fetching secrets is probably worthwhile. I was thinking Embodied Soul, because Embodied Soul doesn't really actually do anything here.
Does it? I mean, it's like a threat, right? It's something that Nyx has to worry about eventually.
But you know that Nyx has a removal on the deck that's dead. You know, we see the Void and the Redeeming Charm.
Okay, let's see if Nyx is going to reverse card the Sandrine's command by mind ripping it. I think Nyx is probably really incentivized to do that because otherwise they'll be doing nothing this turn. Unless the opponent has another mind rip target, but then you can't guarantee your opponent has a mind rip target, right? So might as well just spend
everything's a mind rip target.
You can't guarantee your opponent's going to slam something at sorcery speed.
Yeah, but is the 1-drop that's being fetched here threatening enough to force you to play mind rip? Because mind rip is like a really, really nasty card in control matchups. Or like really any matchup that you can afford to play Unspell in.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, it just lets it resolve, which I guess is fair because I don't think Embodied Soul is a huge problem. You have ways to deal with non-creature things on the board.
This is even just studies in scientific theory or Secrets of the Corelite Court.
Okay, seems like that's what Scribble rips.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps Nyx's removal dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I guess it doesn't really make sense to counter the studies as opposed to the mind rip, as opposed to Shandrine, so...
and also fetching at its instant speed means that Scribble gets the second chapter on their turn right away.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
They're only 3 research counters away from masterpiecing.
Yeah, without the
but like
Displeasure, no answer to it from Nyx.
Yeah.
You're gonna top. All right, let's see what Scribble gets. Okay, that's really good.
Come on, McQueen. So gonna.
Oh wait, Redeeming Charm in response, on draw. Well, that's not going to turn out very well for Nyx because now their mind rip is down.
Yeah.
Well, so Scribble does have Shandrines for Spell Pierce or just really anything here.
I mean, they could just discard, like, just have this discard happen. Nyx also loses some cards, and you're not
Yeah, well,
horribly bad.
if you're letting it happen, you'd Shanjuns for studies or something.
And that gets you
as
really
opposed to
close
just cutting
to
it.
Eureka-ing.
You might as well just take the.
Take the card advantage because you're discarding one card while opponent's discarding two.
Yeah, I think Scribble has too many instant speed effects to be like going discard on draw step.
Well, I mean, at the same time, Nyx does have. I mean, the Reendearment Charm is currently dead. Only real target is Embodied Soul, right? And this Void Flare in hand is also similarly dead for the same reason. So this is kind of like a discard one kind of.
I guess.
I mean, the Mabel is also dead, kind of.
Well, it manages to snipe Scribble's Monument Queens, which probably matters in this matchup. Or no, Monument actually turns on all of Nyx's removal, so I don't think...
Well, I don't think Monument matters in this matchup because Nyx has 4 Mirror Gates.
That too? Right. Which is a copious number of Mirror Gates.
It gets rid of Void Flare and Sinkhole.
Nyx does go to 10 here, which is kind of very uncomfortable with 2 Shujendria Sanctuaries, still happy with the life total.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
loaded, not having an answer at the moment.
So
and
gets rid of
just turn, right? Oh wait, no, they've already added. No, okay, so studies.
Next turn they get a masterpiece.
Ooh, and then turning out the sanctuaries. That's really good for them.
Pretty good, yeah.
So
but Scribble gets a masterpiece here on
reconsider
in like main.
No, I think they're 1 research counter away, right?
So yeah, they're gonna get this one discovers. So they get it on.
Well, they get it on end if they play this reconsider out.
I think they're incentivized to, and Nyx can mind rip it in response and be pretty happy about that.
You get Eureka at the end of each end step, so you might as well just hang on to the reconsider and do it like.
Good point. If Scribble doesn't do anything, Nyx can just flash out Mabel end of turn, and then they finally make use of Mabel after holding it in hand for so long. Is Scribble still scrying right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Must be a pretty big decision. I mean, it is a big decision because you have reconsider to draw it off the top if you need to. Scribble passes.
So, of course.
So what is Nyx looking for here? Probably just another Dang's Displeasure, right?
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, is there anything else that's good in their deck? Ready for Anything is pretty good.
Yeah, especially off this Mabel. Wait, does Scribble reconsider this? Because that means they won't get this masterpiece because this is on end step.
Oh yeah, good point.
Decides not to.
Makes sense. I mean, they don't want to counter the Ready for Anything.
Really, you mean you'd rather like cast reconsider like before moving to end step on the opponent's turn, so that you do get that.
Yeah, but at the same time, the opponents have 1 card in hand, so countering this Ready for Anything could mean they just have nothing, and you have quite a bit. Did Scribble top the?
I think so.
Yeah, they top the Scry, so they do know that they're drawing, I assume, a spell. For Eureka next gen.
Anti-magic, pretty good. So Nyx still has a handful of counter spells after using up 2 anti-magics earlier.
Still no answer to a masterpiece. Scribble does have Impeel Claim, which Nyx can grab off the mind rip if they're so inclined.
That'd be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, before and gonna do something.
Is Nyx going to mind rip here? I assume they do because Scribble is empty-handed. Wait, what? They're not going to. They're going to keep reconsider in hand. Oh, Spell Pierce. I see. They want to counter whatever Nyx has.
They will still do need to run out the reconsider at some point.
They're just not going to let Eureka have. Oh, I see. They're playing around Diane's Displeasure by never making the masterpiece.
They're gonna ready.
I feel like Mind Rip is the more relevant card to play around here. Because like the Diane's Displeasure is going to hit you somehow at some point.
And Spell Pierce lets you actually play around Mind Rip.
Yeah. So we're considering if Nyx Mind Rip's 1, then Spell Pierce gets it. I feel like at the current moment, Nyx has pretty good control of this game. I mean, 12 is respectable-ish life total.
Does Scribble have any burn?
These Ready for Anythings chain together. They have the Ball Lightning and the Lotuses.
They have Bottle Lightnings and Void Flares, and those Void Flares are online. So there's 2 Bottle Lightnings and then 3 Void Flares in Scribble's deck. So
it feels
certainly
like these Ready for Anything chain together, Nyx will be more than able to counter any relevant burn spells.
Nyx is definitely taking their time thinking on the scry. Oh, they're looking up the masterpieces.
I don't know what masterpiece you're most worried about. I guess you're not too worried about any of them. You do have ways to deal.
I mean, maybe at this point it's Cultivating Spears. Like,
yeah, extra card every turn.
Have that passive block.
Yeah.
Actually,
Scribble is like out of manlands though, because Monument Queens is engraved. Bygone Guardian got scried to the bottom.
they can shuffle.
They can, but I don't.
Oh yeah, Nyx is discovering that rules quirk about end step
Yeah.
and Eureka.
And so to be fair with the manline point, Nyx is also out of manlines by virtue of not having any.
Okay, but
True.
Nyx's deck is built around not having manlands, while Scribble's deck isn't.
Nyx also has mirror gates if they need to lock down manlands anyways.
Ooh, end of all things.
And well, thing is nice here. Oh, is I'm not using that to counter a Eureka trigger.
Oh yeah,
That is a way. It is a way to deal with token theoretically.
Well, counter a witch trigger. I think you'd rather just exile the token that gets made.
Yeah, you just pop the token pretty much.
No,
I mean, so gonna go mirror gate. I assume gonna name.
Well, there's nothing you really need to name, right?
you name like Bygone Guardian here, I guess.
You can actually name Genja
Does Scribble
Sanctuary
have
to
Aratha?
Nebula.
Scribble has Aratha, so that's a very good name.
Well, they're gonna name Nebula in order to. Does that matter Scribble at all? No, it doesn't, right?
I think Amanda screws Nyx more because now they don't have
Nebula
white mana without losing.
here because of the Sanctuary.
Oh yeah.
So it's more so mana fixing for Nyx.
Like good. It is actually good.
I mean, if you really wanted to mana fix, you could just mirror gate naming Shigenja, right? Because that also saves you some life.
Well, then it's not tapping for all colors.
Then you don't have 5 colors.
Isn't Nebula already making 5 colors? Or Nebula plus... Oh, they'll have green. I see.
Oh.
Alright, Scribble is finally cracking the masterpiece.
There's no reason to counter this. Like,
unless you really want to mind rip.
Mind rip for 2 doesn't really get anything.
I think if I just end of all things, seeing the token.
Yeah. Also, what's happening in the, what art are they using for end of all things? I can't see what's happening in the art.
That's the VTuber art.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to end. There is that spell pierce, but I don't think Nyx really cares.
All right, let's see what Scribble chooses.
This is the big question.
So
I don't think you ever go with the mirror one. That's just like mid. So
I think Lotus is probably the quote unquote correct choice if you assume that there's a removal spell from Nyx coming out.
You're not assuming.
But if Nyx doesn't have removal spells, Cultivating Spheres is probably the better one.
I mean, the studies can get you
this is getting killed.
Eureka again, right? Eventually. So you just need to trigger Eureka for 4 turns in order to get your second masterpiece.
I think, but then by that point, end of all things, coalesce, blow it up again.
Does Scribble have Grave Hate?
Shanjun's, but they've used 2 of those already, and there are 4 in deck. But I think it's. Purple could do the actual math on it, but it's pretty unlikely. I think at this point, there's only like 2 out of 44 cards.
And they also just have like counters for it potentially. 8 mana is a lot.
8 mana is a lot.
Draws will.
Sinkhole, Spell Pierce, a light cough, anything.
Harm's way.
Tapping out here does mean that they.
that could
slam a Johnny with Spell Pierce up for this anti-magic.
Yeah, and then they can harm's way to kill the Mabel.
Yeah. The Johnny Enlightened
anti-magic.
What do you do with the Johnny? I guess is the question.
Well, odd or evens. What do you want a Johnny at for this matchup?
I mean,
once it's on board, it doesn't. Diane's Displeasure is the biggest way it's gonna get blown up, and that's just sacrifices.
Well, no,
but you have studies, so doesn't
Nyx have burn?
Yeah, like
3 void players. Not really.
I don't think you plus here, right? Because it just doesn't help you.
If you're worried about cosmic coalescing, then you can't really stop that.
You can harm's way to kill the Mabel, and that gets you Eureka triggers, which speeds up a lot.
Yeah.
Zero is probably the best value, but
also
decent chance the Johnny just dies.
Everything that's relevant to killing a Johnny, or anything that's relevant for killing a Johnny, is odd. So you want to play on odd, or anything that deals damage to a Johnny. I guess.
There's a cosmic.
Or anything that targets a Johnny.
Cosmic control. Yeah, because Mabel's kind of problem. It goes harm's way.
So
makes him mad with that.
Scribble's deck is Scribble on all odds so they can't kill Johnny, because this mind rip is angling for 4.
That's amazing.
I think. Do you even?
I have to imagine you do. You just grab your owner Johnny.
Oh, that's gonna be funny.
I mean,
'Cause, like,
could.
you seem kind of behind here.
You can also
With the
just grab
Johnny
Sandrine's
down.
command and fetch something from your deck. What does Nyx have for Sandrine command targets? Oh, they have Backburner. Does that do anything?
Well, they've tapped out
Not
at this
with
point, so no. I guess you could if you would need the mana to then cast out the ban. It'd be a lot.
I
mean,
guess you just grab your own Ajani and then start staring at each other.
And then I mean, Scribble wins that because of the I don't know. I guess it's pretty even.
Scribble's winning this currently, anyways, right? So you
Yeah.
don't have too much choice. Taking an Ajani also means that Scribble's out of Ajanis, and just doesn't have that many threats left in deck. Basically, just have the Eureka cards to actually get an advantage.
Is Ajani even considered a threat? Like, it doesn't win the game on its own, right?
I mean, it more or less does.
But not in a way that
Like,
actually...
Oh, yes, okay,
It's not
fine.
win
Jace
con.
the Mind Sculptor doesn't win the game by itself, but I mean, in the long game, you can just minus 3 a couple times and
Right, I
have
guess.
Ajani die somehow.
So is this... Are we going to see Nyx tank while they figure out what to grab?
I think you just grab a Johnny. I don't think there's anything else to grab.
Good point.
Yeah, the only other 4-drop is Shandunes, which is
it's not like Nyx is paying 4 to grab anything else. So yeah, 2 people, 2 Johnny in lane here, 2 friends staring down each other.
So the question now, do you want to give cards to your opponent? Because like, if you're zeroing a Johnny, I mean, if you both have Johnnies and you both zero, is there a difference between drawing and not drawing?
I think Nyx wants to plus to crack this clue. Oh, you 0, huh?
Yeah, because when you're zeroing, your opponent is getting that card first. But I feel like in this, I think Nyx. I think if I'm Scribble, I would think Nyx has too much interaction for me to just draw off this Ajani and give them another card.
Okay, so does Scribble's deck have an answer to Ajani though?
I mean, Void, not really. Not when it's on the board. You could Void Flare it twice, so...
No, that's going to flip to parity, and you won't be able to do a second Void Flare.
That's true.
Engraved too.
So you'd you'd need to Void Flare and then Bottled Lightning for parity reasons. Scribble does draw, hits a Radiant Palace. Nyx gets another Cosmic Sinkhole.
Ooh, Lowest Barons. That you can blow up the Anzan and start making Nyx lose life again.
That is good.
Johnny 0. Alright, does Nyx draw? They don't. Oh,
there's Bygone Guardian, which is
that going to win the game?
It's trying to throw on Johnny, I guess.
I don't know. Is it? You can't do anything about a Johnny because 0 would be even. Gotta leave your Johnny.
Pretty rough draws from Scribble though, hitting 3 lands on a row when they're approaching their second masterpiece here. Like a Studies or a Bald Lightning would have been excellent there. Would have immediately given them a masterpiece.
Cosmic Coalescing. Oh, that kills a Johnny, doesn't it?
No, they're 1 mana short. Because you would need 1 more in order to.
They can plus a Johnny to do that.
They can Cosmic for 4 and then hit a Johnny with Mabel to finish. Wait, no.
Yeah,
no, because that's still odd. So Mabel can't hit.
No, yeah, Mabel is odd.
You just have to Cosmic for 3 and then play it to even.
Well, no, because that's odd.
That's right. Huh. Man, even odd.
You could just Cosmic. Okay, how about this? Just Cosmic Scribble's face for 1 and then get Just Business out the board.
What's that? Wait, Just Business? What's that do?
It makes a target player sacrifice a legendary creature or planeswalker.
You can also Cosmic a Johnny for 2 and then grab Solar Flare.
That is an option.
And another land from Scribble. This game is starting to look.
A lot of cards getting thrown around here. Scribble's getting the short end of the stick, absolutely. This game is kind of swung in Nyx's favor just because of that.
You're kind of bouncing back from Nyx being very land heavy earlier on, but now Nyx just has.
Nyx was not land heavy earlier on.
I mean, compared to Scribble at least.
That's true. Yeah, Scribble is getting the lands now.
I think this is the first time Nyx is going to miss a land drop. This is second with.
No, they were missing a couple. They were missing a few early game because they had the 2 sanctuaries, the Nebula and the Palace.
Yeah, and they couldn't cast Mabel for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Whack Scribble in the face here.
I mean, Nyx still has to play around Scribble having counter spells though, so they're not just gonna do the obvious play.
No. So.
Well,
wow. Johnny 0. Okay. I assume just Scribble draws off this. So Nyx does not need the card particularly. They have 2 Cosmic Coalescings and are ready for anything.
We are definitely getting close to Scribble's life total mattering with these double cosmic coalescings in hand and Scribble at 14, Mabel still ticking down. This is Johnny being tied to
That's true.
zeroing not only for the cards, but also to stay an odd.
Oh,
Wow.
what's the chances of that, Purple?
Low.
I was gonna say low.
Sub 1%.
Scribble's on 24 lands, so
But they
Was
fetched,
that-
right? No, they haven't
was that
fetched.
was that 6 lands in a row?
I believe so.
6 lands in a row. That is unreal.
That's unreal and unfortunate.
They do still have a chance here, though, just by virtue of Nyx going to be playing around the 4 cards in their hand.
I mean, I have to, like, you can't really be punished, though, if you're next, right? You just, like, always jam whatever the hell you want here,
Yeah,
right?
you can, but you can play whatever, but also not really.
What are the chances that Scribble is eventually going to minus to Johnny in order to not die to Mabel?
I feel like never. I feel like he always just continues.
I don't think Scribble can draw enough lands in a row. I think they have to run out of lands eventually.
Actually, I'm surprised Scribble didn't animate Bygone Guardian and swing, because they're not doing anything else with their mana, right?
I think,
I mean,
well,
Nyx counters does block Mabel.
they could be worried about Cosmic Coalescing at this point because Nyx is gone. There's 11 cards in their bin and no Cosmic Coalescings there, so
I mean, you're
Probably.
happy if they use the Cosmic Coalescing on your Bygone Guardian, right?
I guess so. Yeah, that's fair.
Because it's not going towards your face.
There you go, Cosmic.
It does feel like Scribble's kind of choosing between bad and worse, though, with whatever they do here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what's something that could happen this game? Nyx fetches out Frozen Over and Scribble animates Bygone Guardian.
No, because you have to reveal from the board. I think Scribble doesn't animate Bygone Guardian.
Okay, what if you use Cosmic Coalescing now and fetch out Frozen Over so that Scribble can no longer animate Bygone Guardian safely?
Well, you're one
You don't have the
shot
mana for that
Frozen
yet.
Over.
Oh.
Frozen Over costs 6. It's a premium card. That has a premium mana cost.
It's pretty premium, yeah.
Oh yeah, do you want to tell people what Frozen Over does in case you haven't seen that card before?
So Frozen Over is a card from Video Horror Systems that added kind of recently to MSEM. Was it like 3 sets ago or whatever?
2 set releases ago.
That's
2
6
set
months
releases
ago.
So kind of recent. And it is 5 and a blue, instant. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. And then that player reveals cards from the top of the library until they reveal a creature card. And then they put all cards revealed this way into their graveyard. So,
So if that
Say.
creatures,
and neither of these players have any creatures in their deck. So,
so
They
that
gotta
must be great in this matchup.
yeah.
I mean, does Nyx board Frozen Over in? I mean, like, it kills Scribble if they animate anything, right?
Yeah, it costs 6 mana.
I think
Yeah,
you'd
but
rather
if
have
Scribble's
it.
animating something, then that means they're tapping out a counterspell mana.
I think
Well,
you'd
like, I
rather
think-
have it in the board.
Like, I think the dynamic in this matchup is that Nyx goes over Scribble regardless. Like, we're seeing with the Mind Rip and the Cosmic Coalescings here, that in a late game scenario, I have to imagine that Nyx just massively favored. Like, if you just sit down both players at 8 lands, 7 cards in hand, Nyx just probably wins all the time.
Right?
So adding in another card that only does stuff in the late game seems maybe questionable.
I think Nyx is doing the thing I said of going and then gonna get the going and then getting just business. That is unbelievable stuff.
Yep, that's just business in the Johnny said.
I cannot believe that was actually what happened because that was the first thing I thought of off the cuff was random card on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, just business is a very efficient card.
It is
Oh.
it's just business. I mean, yeah, one mana to have a sacrifice of a creature of a specific type is pretty good.
Like, I'm not 100% sure if it's like the correct card for that choice, because you have other cards like She-Host Command, which
Yeah,
does
but
more to legendary stuff.
Well, the thing with Cosmic Coalescing is that the more like you're getting taxed twice for every mana or for every mana value in the sideboard card, right? So you want something extremely cheap.
Kind of.
That's true. Because I mean, yeah, if you get a 2-drop, you can't also ready for anything this turn. Spend 5 mana on the you spend 4 mana on the coalescing, 2 mana on the thing. You only have 1 mana left over.
Well, there goes
Another
Bygone
Mirror
Guardian.
Gate. Wow. Okay, another Mirror Gate. I mean, Lotus Barons is there.
Does it matter? You just drop Mirror Gate and force your opponent to blow it up.
True.
Actually, does Nyx have End of All Things up or End of All Things from the yard?
They would have if they played Channeling Stone over Mirror Gate there.
Let's see if
I
Nick's.
think they're pretty happy just Cosmic Coalescing again. It's a big spell.
Let's see if Nick zeroes a
is.
Johnny again.
I feel like at this point you should just be plussing to crack clues and stuff. You have plenty of resources.
Yeah, you just spent all that effort killing a Johnny, so might as well not give your opponent cards. Scribble wants to animate Byguard Guardian in response. Is that what's happening?
Not sure how the layers work on that one.
I think it should work, right? I mean, it's still gonna be a creature, right? Oh boy, time to let's see if they're gonna do a judge call.
I imagine so. I have no idea. This is a weird thing of if a land becomes a creature and then
You get them to ping a judge, I
okay,
guess.
so I would imagine that you probably don't want to, because without knowing anything about the interaction, it still becomes a copy of Mirrorgate, and Mirrorgate doesn't have power toughness. So even if it does
it
become retain being a creature, probably wouldn't have power toughness, right?
Right,
Which
because
is bad.
Animus has the printed power and toughness instead of how they're usually done by setting the power and toughness when they animate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I don't know if it actually does stay being a creature post Mirrorgate, but would definitely be good to wait for a response from Scribble though before naming, because you could also be naming Lotus Barons here.
Let's see. So let's see if there's any judge present.
Maybe irrelevant. Might be relevant to ask if Scribble has any live draws here. So it does seem very, very rough for them.
Landry's command?
That doesn't. I don't think that saves them.
But gets them the most options.
Yeah, well, so there's not only not dying to what Nyx is putting out, the Johnny, the Mabel, the Cosmic Coalescing, but also School's just kind of out of threats, right? They just kind of need to, they're out of Johnny's. I can't imagine any lands are going to work here. So they just kind of have to brute force a win with Eureka.
I mean, that's possible, right? They have these two studies, and if they fetch, or if they draw something with Eureka, now they're basically Eurekaing every other turn.
Yeah, but Nyx also has, Gains Pleasure still on deck. They have End of Things Graveyard. We know they have End of Things Hand. Scribble doesn't know that.
Well, but can Nyx deal with an onslaught of masterpieces?
I think yes, right? Because even if Scribble is drawing runner Eureka cards, I think Nyx burns them down faster than Scribble can create them.
Probably, but at least it's an out. Or at least
I mean, I'm saying it's not an out.
It's a way to put up a fight. Seems like the judge has responded.
Oh yeah, so
it will be a creature, has no PT, will die.
Purple, what's the chances of this happening?
Oh, 0, because Guardian's down Megate.
No, I mean top decking Radiant Palace.
Low. What, that's 7th land? Am I right? 7, so 0.4 to the 7, which is what? 16, 6, 1.6, 0.6, 0.7. It's like 5. It's like 0.2-ish, I guess.
Scribble's not gonna animate Byguard, or they're not gonna blow up Mirrorgate and then animate Byguard Guardian to block. Lotus Barons is untapped, right?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so they do have it.
Don't think it necessarily matters here.
Oh, they can end of all things the Lotus Barons. Interesting.
I think you'd rather end of all things yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna spend your end of all things on?
A masterpiece or a study or something.
Scribble's not gonna get masterpieces.
Cosmic Coalescing can probably get something out that deals with that. Yeah, Relic Corrosion's in the board still, so you can.
I imagine Scribble's happy to see that end of all things.
Hey, ball lightning off the top. We're gonna see Scribble get a masterpiece
right there. Cool.
Well, if it resolves, which
it gets countered here almost certainly. 15 3 counter cells in hand is pretty good.
Does get Scribble ticking up towards a masterpiece, even with just the studies there.
Nyx has time to find an answer, though. I don't think they're
particularly worried. Just have the answer with the end of all things still in bin.
Yeah.
And
so they don't know. Granted, they don't know its answer because Scribble has more lands than I think Nyx would expect in hand.
Yeah. Try and counter this here.
Nyx is still playing around Scribble, having a hand of actual cards. There's anti-magic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yes. Scribble's just going to concede there with 4 lands in hand.
Anti-magic
at
Radiant Palace.
Yeah, this is the kind of spot where you go, yeah, even if my opponent is on all lands and top decks lands until they run out of lands, I probably still lose.
Well, I mean, Scribble is
That's
on
true.
all lands, so maybe the opponent is also on all lands. It's not
Yeah, I think-
impossible.
Well, yeah, but they're at least on two end of things in yard and in Johnny in play. So
Yep. All
he's
right.
on the rough side.
Sideboarding.
So on Scribble's side, they have Lao Zhang's command. Imagine
Neutral.
that's here. Neutralize.
You
Is
take neutral.
Panya? I don't know what Panya's for.
It's against Frozen Over, so that you actually have a creature in the deck.
Yeah, I think
Well,
you
no-
do. I think you do set in those Panya maybe for that. I don't think I'm that worried about Frozen Over in this matchup though,
Okay,
because
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a 6 mana spell. You're already setting a Neutralize and Lounging's hand, so
I
you
just
have.
don't know what matchup Panya's for in general.
I think Panya is there to give Scribble some extra win conditions.
Maybe. I mean, maybe this is the matchup Panya's for.
Maybe. And then Nyx is on coalescing board, I guess. I don't know how much siding you're doing. I don't think you really need Solar Flare.
No, you don't. There's nothing to hit with Solar Flare.
There's opponent's not on like fetch lands or anything. There's nothing to confirm, really.
I mean, the things that you need to side out the redeeming, or you want to side out the redeeming charms and the void flares. So you need stuff to bring in.
Relic Corrosion, I mean, that's not bad. You just bring in the stuff that you would grab with Cosmic Coalescing and accept that Cosmic is slightly worse.
Yeah, Relic Corrosion, Spell Pierce.
I mean, you can just bring Confirm as a cantrip.
Yeah, it also copies the ETB, the enchantment ETBs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's like vaguely passable, I guess.
Yeah. It's better than Riademian Charm is here at
Wait,
least.
Nyx has fatigues in the sideboard? That's hilarious.
I don't know.
Illegal deck list.
Illegal deck list. I assume it's just for. I mean, I
convenience.
think yeah,
it's like having tokens in your deck box.
Pretty much, because unless you have the Cockatrice build that does have conjure token, whole thing.
So both players keep their opening hand. Seemed like a pretty good opening hand for both players. Lots of interaction.
Scribble's got Neutralize, Panya, and Secrets here with Chandran's command in the wings. Nyx kept some amount of the Riademian Charm.
Oh, they can swap out Redeeming Charm for Mabel now. So that's one of the advantages of First Mate, in that you can swap out bad sideboard cards when you don't have the room to, or you don't have anything to bring in.
Yeah.
I mean, funnily enough, their entire sideboard is instants, despite Cosmic Coalescing being able to grab any non-creature. So they do always have a valid Mabel main deck.
Yeah, it's better to be safe with stuff like that.
Keeping 7, using Mabel, swaps out the Redeeming Charm as expected.
Mabel is definitely a very, very nice card on a lot of control decks. Not even necessarily for exactly this situation, even more so for just aggro decks and stuff. But this is a very good use case of it. Even if maybe this is a result of non-ideal deck construction, like not having enough cards to actually bring in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so question: if you're a Scribble, do you turn 1 to Panya? Like, has Nyx boarded out removal? That's the question you're asking here when you play turn 1 Panya, right? Oh, they're not. Okay,
we're gonna correlate core.
I guess they're keeping Panya around for when they can tail it immediately.
Yeah, I don't think it matters too much, because I mean, don't care about the damage too much. We do see Dang's Displeasure in Nyx's hand, which which Panya does make the Edict mode live, or the creature Edict mode.
Yeah, but
I think if a Panya ate up a Dion's Displeasure, you're pretty happy, right?
Well, the thing is, that's not the only thing that's eating the pleasure. So, like, if this Ball of Lightning resolved, for example, then the Displeasure would eat both it and the Panya.
Mm-hmm.
You do see Scribble drawing into their draw spells with hitting 2 secrets to correlate quad.
Ooh, studies.
Yeah, studies here is nice.
So Scribble can trigger Eureka on both turns now.
Yeah, the trouble is that Scribble only has the 1 blue source at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, so functionally they're tapped out even.
They're gonna studies instead of secrets? I feel like they should have held up secrets, because it's safer that way.
I'm kind of surprised the studies resolved, to be completely honest. I feel like you want to just anti-magic that to keep the research count down.
And Nyx is just, I think they're just keeping anti-magic for something else because they don't have any other counter spells in hand.
I suppose that's fair. I mean, keep it for Johnny or something.
Because studies isn't like super scary.
Well, actually, no. Studies resolving also bricks Diane's Displeasure.
Yeah. And like, what is Scribble's deck that Displeasure doesn't answer? Because like a Johnny dies to Displeasure as well.
And how does it brick it?
You can sack studies instead of your Ajani to it.
Yeah, that's fair. But
Well, I mean, you can bounce the studies,
Oh
but
yeah, I
that's
guess
not
that's true. But
exactly ideal. You do. Scribble does
Yeah.
get to replay it for more scry and stuff.
It's gonna pass here, hanging on to the Mabel.
okay, let's see if Scribble scried themselves into a land. Looks like they didn't.
Oh, the landing is like a reasonable pick there, though. I
They also do
think.
have secrets, so if they find a land on the top here, the secrets can draw them into it.
Well, Lightning even scrides.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess they have like little chances even.
I'm assuming Nyx is going to counter the Ball Lightning though.
Maybe. I mean, you're still in the same spot as you were last turn, right? With
I
with the
guess.
studies.
But like now Diane's Pleasure is actually getting bricked by your 2 enchantments.
Scribble's gonna bottle lightning first. Is interesting. They didn't bottom the card on top, so I don't know why they're doing that.
They want to hold up secrets for the opponent's turn so they can get 2 Eureka triggers on the turn in the turn cycle.
Yeah.
Nyx lets it resolve, huh?
I mean, this turn they do have Mabel to play, or Mabel already for anything to play.
Let's see.
Wait, what? Huh?
Okay, so I think that's just missequencing from
That's just
Scribble.
Yeah, misplay cannot be countered. Keep on. It is a land. It was a land on top too.
Wasn't a blue source, so it doesn't matter too much. But
Notably, they don't have Chanjin's command mana. 'Cause they only have 1 white source through a ton of red.
Well, Low Spirit is gonna mana fix for them, so there's that at least. And it also mana screws the opponent, right? Wait, never mind. It doesn't mana screw the opponent.
Manifex is the opponent.
Yeah.
If only Low Span was Field of Ruin, then it would be much better in this matchup.
Is Field of Ruin in the format?
No.
Huh.
Yeah, there's very few land destruction land.
That doesn't mana screw Scribble as much as
It does. I mean,
They have no blue.
Low Span.
In this context, they're not 2 mana screwed, but
yeah, Scribble's
It's upside.
definitely not in a great position right now.
it's upside for Nyx getting a all color land in the palace thanks to reach.
It is kind of scary for Scribble though, because Nyx is representing End of All Things, which if it does hit this Low Span, if Nyx did have it, then activating this low span to mana fix you would be pretty darn scary.
You can Low Spirit into the Mirror Gate, right?
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's convenient.
All that.
yeah,
This is all Scribble's problems.
really good there.
Although you need to pay some more life. Actually, so this is a matchup where both players have the life loss lands, or what do you call these lands? Palaces? Yeah, they're palaces.
I think you just call them the palaces. Yeah.
Yeah, so that actually is kind of interesting because of how they interact when you're in the mirror, right?
I don't think Scribble really cares about paying life.
Well, yeah, but like basically, if you have those lands, or if both players have those lands, like both players are going to be losing life until they're roughly equal, and then they're going to start losing life.
I have to imagine post-board it doesn't matter very much with both players presumably starting at the void flows.
Presumably.
I can't imagine you keep them in. I mean, Nick seemed to have kept in redeeming charm, which means that they probably started at void flows. Or maybe
Scribble's
just
gonna
kept them both, I guess.
Holding up. You can neutralize.
If Scribble does decide not to play it,
Ready for okay? Is Scribble going to activate Low Spirits in response? They're not.
Well, there's no need to use Lotus Spins now.
Well, I mean, they're tapped out of End of All Things, right?
Yeah, but you can just wait because
You're not worried about End of All Things anyways, because now that you have blue mana, you can just neutralize it.
I
if
think
Nyx plays another Mega, you would have to do it in response, but you're pretty fine with that.
Do you think Nyx is going to mirror gate the Nebula?
Well, that's a good thing to blow up with Lotus Barons now.
The answer is yes.
Scribble will presumably respond to that.
It is a when it enters the battlefield, so you can respond to that.
There's no reason to respond to it. You might as well hold the Lotus Barons until you see what one has.
Absolutely a reason to respond to it because this puts you off blue. So if you don't Lotus Barons now,
then you can't
neutralize and end all things on your Lotus Barons.
Yeah. They're thinking.
Yeah. So you have to blow up one of them right now. Realistically, your opponent doesn't care about the mana fixing off the Lotus Barons, like, at all. Because, in response to ETB blow up, because...
luckily for Scribble, Nyx does not have an End of All Things. Actually, no, it is... Yeah. I think it's even because if your opponent has an End of All Things, you'll be pretty happy to neutralize it.
Yeah, exactly. Neutralize, then Slime Panya, get the extra turn.
Fine.
Fine. So they both get this Lotus Spring. I mean, Nyx got an untapped land instead of a tapped land. I'd say it's pretty good. Because now you have anti-magic and you can pay for the neutralize in theory. Whack your opponent with Mabel here. Found Jun's command next turn is, I guess it's not that scary because
Nyx also has Mind Rip for 2.
that just gets neutralized.
I have Scribble tries to tap out for it.
For Jun's command?
Yeah, for Panya Tail.
Yeah, I guess so they don't draw land. I imagine Panya is something that would be fought over if Scribble does play it out end of this turn, I guess in main phase 2.
There is Time Worn Crags. I just remembered there's a couple other land destruction lands.
Yeah, Time Worn Crags is pretty reasonable. Tech Edge is, I think, is also in the format.
There's Time Worn Crags and Perilous. Perilous Passage is probably, I feel like that's better than Lotus Springs.
Wait, what does Time Worn Crags do?
So Time Worn Crags, I think it's worse because it's 4 tap, sack it to destroy any target land, and it costs 1 less for each non-basic land you don't control.
That's just...
And then Perilous Passage is 1 tap, sack it to destroy target non-basic land only if an opponent has 4 or more land.
So it's just Tech Edge.
Yeah.
So I guess Barons is better in outside of the control matchup, whereas Passage is better for control matchups.
Well, the thing is that you're playing it in control deck, so
yeah,
maybe in this matchup it's not as good just because you're not the bigger control deck. But
yeah, because Perilous Passage would be good here because it is just a 1-for-1 get rid of something without giving the opponent a Lotus Spring.
But Low Spend is pretty solid. Negate's, I think, generally better. Though I think Scribble just dislikes Negate as a rule. But I play Low Spends in Blue-White Juyu, and just being able to like blow up creature lands when after they activate is really nice.
Is Nyx going to kill Panya in this turn?
Yeah, so I guess Demon Charm does have this utility. Does kill Panya with the Pyroclasm mode.
Or just the target mode?
Mabel. Oh yeah, that's true.
I would say don't target it.
Discard. Oh, wait.
Discard mode.
Actually, you can neutralize it. And if Nyx wants to fight over to neutralize, then they also have to discard 2 cards, which they can just discard 2 lands, and then both players will be empty-handed, but Scribble gets to activate Panya first.
Yeah, I don't think you want... I think if you get neutralized here, I think you just take it. You have an anti-magic. Whatever your opponent has, you can deal with.
Not if Scribble plays it before Nyx and taps.
You
have anti-magic and 2 mana.
Right.
So I think you just take the neutralize here to keep your anti-magic because you don't want to... Because your opponent's getting 5 mana. That's like... I guess it's also like...
Wait, they're fighting over it?
Okay, wow. This seems like a massive mistake.
That seems like... I guess you don't care... I guess in Nyx's mind, they're like, even if I take... Like, taking 6 is a lot, but they're still...
Well, but it's not only taking 6, it's also a bunch of research counters. They're taking 2 off the Demon Charm.
They're going to discard their 2 lands, right? Unless they're thinking about discarding Diana's Pleasure? That has to be incorrect, right?
You can't discard Diana's Pleasure against...
What?
Wow.
Because the Panya isn't going to be sludging after the tail. But like, you also like want those lands because you have Mind Drip in hand, you have a Clue in play.
And also Diana's Pleasure just blows up your opponent's 2 enchantments, right? Or like bounces 1 enchant. Oh no, Diana's Pleasure bounces the Masterpiece token.
Yeah, bounces the Masterpiece token, activate the thing. I don't know what Nyx was thinking, honestly. Because even there, like, it's not like Nyx is in a great situation.
But Palace does not hit Scribble. Scribble's at low life.
I think they forgot.
I think the game is getting to Nyx. I don't know. I think the length of the game is...
Neutralize off the top. That's pretty good.
Neutralize off the top. I think that's about the worst thing that could happen there. Because now Mind Rip is shut down by that.
So Scribble's just going to play Panya number 2 post-combat in order to trigger Eureka.
And that will get presumably a thrice-fold Lotus because Nyx will be at 7.
Yeah. Plus, you have a second Panya on board that will do something next. I think you actually.
Yeah, I think thrice-fold Lotus doubling up on.
I think Scribble actually just
to keep up neutralize.
I think Scribble actually just wins if that happens, unless Nyx gets a good draw.
Nyx is lower. That was their strategy all along. They're trying to turn off the palaces. I see. That's hilarious. You can always wait. What?
Yeah, I guess Scribble can wait on the Panya for Nyx's main phase 2.
There's Banished Intruders. Not the time.
They main deck that. How many Planeswalkers does Scribble have again?
3. The Ajani's.
Well, I mean, the question is whether it's better than Void Flare, which
I think
in this situation looks like Void Flare is better.
When your opponent has Panyas in the board, I guess it really isn't. And now Scribble's lower, so...
I mean, to be fair, I'm still not entirely sure how sideboard Panya works. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you could just say like, yeah, Panya's for like combo matchups.
Panya
It
is,
seems like Nyx has a good amount of answers to main board.
it is killing Nyx right now.
Yeah, it's definitely working, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will.
They're gonna mind rip.
Average.
Unfortunately, Nyx probably should have mind rip for 3 to play around the neutralize.
I mean, in Nyx's defense here, Scribble only has 2 neutralized in the board, and they've only gone 15 cards deep. Statistically speaking, it's unlikely that they have a neutralize in hand right now. It's more likely they have a sinkhole. As you lose a sinkhole too, don't you?
Mind rip for x equals 0 is like ghosting behavior. Because you just already losing if you don't mind rip for more than 1. Because you just lose to the masterpiece, yeah.
Right. Well, you don't lose immediately.
No, you're just dead. Because Lotus hits you for 3, Panya hits you for 1, Lotus hits you for 3. So you're just dead on board.
Wait, oh right, you make this thing on the end step. Right, okay.
Yeah, gets a neutral. Has the neutralize.
And Nyx does not have a counter spell that can hit the neutralize.
No, so yeah, Panya comes down, thrice folded Lotus, take an extra turn, punch Nyx in the face, and then
GG's.
Damage off the Lotus.
Yeah, so it feels like all of that just came down to that redeeming charm being fought over.
Really did, yeah.
Or like if Nyx just used the removal mode on redeeming charm, right? Then the fighting over it would actually make sense.
Well, Nyx is reevaluating the sideboard options. They just reset their sideboard. so it might be looking at those void flows again.
Yeah.
I feel like that was probably definitely an overperformance by Panya, considering just how many cards Nyx has to deal with it.
I mean,
the
redeeming charm dealt with it.
The things especially that was discarded could have dealt with it. I mean, 3 Cosmic Coalescings we didn't see. Granted, Panya gets hit by End of All Things. That's a great trade for Panya, but
I mean, Panya is just a threat that the opponent has to worry about, right? Because you can just flash it at end of turn for 1 mana if your opponent tries to tap, if your opponent taps out or anything. Like if you fought over something during your end step and then you flash in Panya for 1 mana while opponent's tapped out.
Yeah, but I mean, what else is like? You need to take out something for Panya though. Maybe you just don't have enough. But like, what you take out Armsway, Imperial Claim, 3 Void Flares, Metabolic Expanse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you. So I guess Metal Munch too. So yeah, I guess you have exactly enough Salt Spring and everything you want in this matchup, including all 3 Panyas.
Yeah.
But it feels like you just prefer to like have your own Cosmic Coalescings or whatever here, right? As opposed to Panya.
Yeah, but like, do you really want to board Cosmic Coalescings? And Panya is also better in other matchups, I guess.
Well, I mean, still the Pandemonium.
Right, that card exists.
Maybe easy example.
But maybe you just have too many counter spells if you do that.
Maybe. Well, I mean, what 2 we consider, 4 Sinkhole, 1 Spell Pierce. I guess the neutralizes as well. I mean, that's not a ridiculous number of counter spells. It is a lot though.
And Panya is actually proactive in matchups where you want that sort of thing. Like it does close up the game pretty quickly if you shoot your opponent a few times with your Wild Lightnings.
It does definitely interact well with the Eureka cards. Just, I mean, being 2 spells, even if the tail gets countered.
That too, yeah. And then,
but it feels like if you're looking for cards for control matchups, you can probably find harder control hoses than Panya. But maybe it is for combo matchups. Who knows?
Hey, look, 2 Panyas. Speak of the devil. Do you keep this? Like, I don't think you want the mulligan here, though, right? Even if the hand isn't great, you do have stuff.
I mean, this hand, like, is basically 7 blanks. It's pretty bad.
It is. I mean, Nyx can keep this.
Nyx has a hand with a lot of 2-ofs.
It's weird.
It's like a Ralph. Wait, what's the poker hand that has a bunch of 2s or 2-ofs? I forgot the name for that.
2 pairs. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 3 pairs and 1 thing.
3 pairs and a thing. I love watching the World Poker Tournament. Oh, Nyx actually molds that.
Like, I think that's a discipline mold from Nyx. Granted, they on the play, but
they have Solar Flare now.
But having no actual plays until turn 3 is kind of bad, even in a control matchup.
True.
School does keep the 7. Like, it's not the worst 7, but definitely not exciting.
Okay, can we talk about how Nyx brought in Solar Flare because they were so traumatized by Panya beats last game?
Yeah.
I guess it's better than Void Flare. Like,
I guess so, yeah.
Well, there's also an even spell for Najani, so...
Oh yeah, right.
Hey, utility.
Or, it kills Najani on 2. It does not kill Najani on 4.
Yeah, but sets up your Najani to even for End of All Things or whatever.
You can also drop it down. If it gets plus, you can drop it down to 2 and beat with Mabel.
True.
So, got utility.
Yeah.
So do you bring in Mabel over Soulflare here?
No, Mabel.
Nick
Wait.
adds in no.
There.
Well, I guess they bottom the Soulflare, but
Oh, I still
And
feel
that
like you
makes
just swap Mabel for
some sense.
Cosmic Coalescing, though.
I mean, Cosmic Coalescing is really good at killing Panya, so
Okay, fair. Turn 1 embodied, so
Mm-hmm.
that's just gonna get killed, right?
I mean, Nyx doesn't have an answer to him at the moment. Like, Cosmic Coalescing for 1 does kill it pretty cleanly between Just Business and Relic Corrosion, but
Next plays Challenge Stone, naming Instant.
Instant. My favorite card type.
Huh. Ready for anything?
so does
Yeah.
not beta Spell Pierce.
You don't help us are ready for anything, I don't think. I mean, I
God,
guess
it's so tempting though. It's such a like.
yeah, but
Ooh,
Because if you
Backburner.
don't, then they get the clue, and then they crack the clue next turn, and you're like, oh, I just didn't do anything.
They can't crack the clue because Channeling Stone.
True. Well, Mirror Gate here is gonna name something.
Not Lilith Barons, which is what's gonna be played next turn. Unless
I mean, you're not gonna name names Eminent Palace.
they're shutting off white, which I guess shuts off embodied, so but I would shut off
It also
red.
I guess
you could have named Channeling Stone here so you could crack the clue.
yeah, but you have 2 ready for anything, and you're gonna cast one of those on end.
Okay, Scribble's going on the beach.
More clues to crack next turn.
Scary, frightening, even.
So Scribble has drawn pretty well, drawing Secrets of the Core Court and Challenges Command, giving a lot of action to this.
Mm-hmm.
At least they're
originally action light hand.
At least they haven't drawn 7 lands in a row yet.
No. Until they blow up that Mirror Gate, though, they don't have Sean Jun's mana, which is nice for next.
Well, Radiant Palace with some Challenges mana.
Yeah, ready for anything again.
Okay, good. Nyx did not crack the clue because that would let the judge call.
Yeah. It's also just not the thing to be doing here.
I mean, technically, you do want to crack clues that your Dionysus Pleasures are alive, or at least so that you can use the Edict mode on Dionysus Pleasure and not feel bad about it.
I was actually just waiting on the scry mode, the scry part of Ready for Anything, because if you're fine with anything here, then you might as well crack the clue.
Including Ready for Anything?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Nyx is under any real pressure here.
Hey, mine is ticking in for 1 damage per turn.
Yeah, like I said, Nyx isn't really under any real pressure here.
Embodied Stone might also do 4 damage later on.
So I guess Nyx is looking for Dang's Pleasure here, or like a counterspell maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fractured Reach does have a colorless ability. However, Shadunga Sanctuary does not have a colorless ability.
I'm assuming Scribble's blowing up the Channeling Stone. Or they don't want to blow up Mirror Gate, right? Because Mirror Gate's actually making them lose less life right now. Yep, they blow up the Channeling Stone.
This does finally have help next. Because
it does just help Nyx. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, what else are you gonna blow up?
The Mirror Gate.
But Mirror Gate's helping you right now because it makes you lose less life off your Eminent Palace.
I mean, you're at a lower life total.
Well, that's gonna change pretty soon because if you're being down with Panya.
I mean, you can also just blow up the Fractured Reach. Like,
that makes your opponent lose life.
Very much, but I guess fair because
I don't think it's like such a small difference. I feel
no. I think it's better to blow up Fractured Reach because that means Channeling Stone can't crack clues, and that's actually gonna be pretty relevant here. Oh, and Channeling Stone also can't pay for counter spells.
Yeah, that's true. Channeling Stone not being able to pay for attacks and counters is actually very, very relevant.
Yeah, so actually getting rid of that is kind of helpful, honestly. It's a tricky situation that, this was a Scribble's end step.
But cracking those spins does mean that Scribble will be safe from any attempts to mana screw them with Mirrorgate. The Lotus Spring is not a nameable card.
It's a safe good point.
It's true, it's not a proper name. What do you do here if you're next? Because you play the Mirror Gate.
I think you just name Bygone Guardian or Monument of Queens or whatever.
I say Monument of Queens. I think you're more worried about because like Bygone Guardian is just like a 3/5.
I mean, haven't seen Elratha Scribble yet, but they do have it in there.
Forgot about Elratha existing. Okay, does Nyx want to do anything in response right now?
I don't think there's anything can do really in response.
And about things. They blow up one of Scribble's things.
Yeah, but like,
I think it's still just. Oh, actually, I think they probably should have Cosmic Coalescing the Panya there.
Yeah, and then you can get.
I guess that does let Scribble just like slam on Johnny kind of for free, which would be kind of bad.
Take it. I guess you You don't Chandran's command here, not when you have various forms of backup for it.
You pass the turn and hope Sandrine's command.
I assume Nyx just goes for no, gonna go for coalescing now.
Not the best time to go for it, I feel like.
Yeah, when your opponent was tapped out, it was like a moment ago. That would have been a perfect.
Well, no, Nyx is holding up the Cosmic Cinco, and then now that you know your opponent's not playing anything,
I think I think if you're running out of 3-mana spell here, you probably should be running out End of All Things.
But do you really want to end of all things with Panya?
No, you End of All Things Embodied Soul.
Do you not want to deal with the Panya before Scribble gets to 5 lands, I mean?
Well, I mean, you're only baiting out something here, right? Because, I mean, you have the sinkhole for the Panya Tail. So
Yeah.
Scribble just goes to the Panya Tail next turn, you go, oops, sinkhole for 1, then coalescing your Panya.
Can Scribble Sandrine's command and fetch out something funny to protect the Panya?
I don't think anything funny.
Neutralize, I guess.
So you could just get a counter spell, but then I feel like you don't want
Arm's
to
way? Assuming Scribble hasn't boarded that thing out, which they probably did.
Wow.
It's better just grab a counter still, because Cosmic Coalescing will grab a Just Business or Relic Corrosion or something.
So I guess you just
Void Flare.
Sandrine's
Relic.
neutralize, and then you get 2 triggers for embodied, so.
Actually, I think what Scribble should have done here is just played out the second Panya and Legend Rule it.
Well, no, playing like this forces Nyx to burn another removal spell on the Panya.
That's fair, but the thing is that you're burning a Spell Pierce here, and Spell Pierce is pretty valuable.
Ooh, Relic Corrosion. That kills embodied soul. And Scribble's out of counters.
Soul, no, because Embodied Soul... Oh, no, it keeps the enchantment type. It's just wooded, oddly. Because it just becomes an enchantment creature. It doesn't become a creature in addition to its other types.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It specifically says it becomes an enchantment.
So Embodied Soul does die here. Whose spot do you like here?
I like the guy that has Panya in play.
I think, Nyx has clues. I feel like the second Panya in Scribble's hand is nice, but the Event of All Things, Backburner, Get Back, Cosmic Coalescing.
Wait, why is that thing in the yard?
They got countered.
Oh, okay.
Counter spells go into yard are kind of funny. Happens with Confirm sometimes.
So, secret.
That's doubly uncounterable.
Whoa, you definitely can't counter that. And 2 lands.
No, lands are good here, right? Because you have
Panya
Panya and you have Sandrine's command. So now you can make Sandrine's command uncounterable with secrets.
Well, not yet. You'll
next turn.
Mana, but...
Well, actually, no, you can make Panya Tail uncounterable.
2 turns from now.
That might actually happen, though, because...
I feel like...
Especially with Nyx missing land drops, meaning that Scribble does not have to play terribly fast. Wait. Yeah, this Palace will enter play tapped, which is a problem if Scribble's planning on tailing Panya.
I don't think they're going to tail Panya this turn. Like, that's just too risky, right?
Well, the thing is that you force out a counter spell, right?
Sure, but do you really want to tap out for that? I feel like you'd rather just pretend that you have something in hand.
But, like, how does Nyx punish you for tapping out here?
They counter the Panya, and then on their turn, they untap and get to slam something.
Slam what? They have no slammable cards in their deck.
Mind Rip? Wait,
They slam Mind Rip. Untap, slam Mind Rip.
Lance's Pleasure? Cosmic Coalescing, I guess? End of All Things?
I mean, this is almost an empty board, though. Always not to go for Panya Tail.
They still get to hold up Sandrine's command, at least.
Feels like Nyx is kind of happy about Panya being... Are they happy about Panya not being tailed here?
I mean, Nyx could just Cosmic for 1 and then crack the clue, right?
Yeah, spells doesn't matter too much because they do have Cosmic for 1, so the mana efficiency doesn't change here.
They're gonna keep getting ready for stuff. Are they gonna get around to cracking those clues anytime soon? Because, like, they're gonna be sacking these to Diana's Pleasure.
I mean, when you have 3,
They do need to find Diana's Pleasure first for that to be relevant, but having B clues in play is definitely not ideal.
No. Oh.
Probably isn't a crazy thing to just End of All Things the Panya there. Just be mana efficient.
But there's so many better things to end of all things, like masterpieces.
I mean, it scrolls on 1 research counter though.
The thing that's making the masterpieces.
And like you have Backburner for Relic Corrosion too. Anti-Magic and Nebula are excellent draws though. Does force Scribble to play pretty darn slowly, relying on the sequels of the Coralite Quart to jam anything through.
Does Nyx even remember the secrets of Coralite Quart in the yard right now?
No.
It happened like last turn, jeez.
Yeah, but that was already being used.
I'm just gonna say no, And if it's true, then I look like kind of so. And if it's not true, then I can just pretend I never said it.
So do you end up turn Sandrines here? You can exile opponent's graveyard.
Your opponent has so much. Your opponent has so much mana up, 4 cards in hand. They have some kind of response to Shandun's.
Okay, so now you have Sandrines protected by Secrets of Corelight Court.
Does tap you out though.
I think that's fine if Sandrines finds you something that wastes your opponent's play.
But I mean, again, like we talked about this in game 1, where it's like, what is Shandun's fetching? It's fetching Secrets of the Corelight Court or Studies in Scientific Theory, right?
Or Spell Pierce or Neutralize.
But there's nothing to counter.
Yeah, so you hold it up and you just have an uncounterable counter spell.
Well, like it's still the thing is that other Shandun's modes aren't terribly good, so
hey, 5 life. Graveyard exile will matter if your opponent has backburner.
Yeah, but you prefer to just play in response to backburner.
Permanent Palace taps, they don't have that up. I guess they're gonna like what Shanjuns into sinkholers.
I think they're setting up for Kanye in the following turn.
Cracks
with,
one clue.
Secrets. Backup.
Gonna crack another clue.
Lots of Cosmic Sinkholes, but they're not very useful against Panya Tail.
There's
that's protected by Secrets.
Thanks for Pleasure is a nice draw.
Okay, so if Nyx doesn't kill Panya now, Scribble is going to be able to Panya Tail without being able to be countered.
Which really isn't that big of a deal if you kill Panya in response. It really isn't. I guess it isn't even that big of a deal if you don't kill Panya in response.
Yeah, it might actually just be better to just do it.
Because Scribble's essentially just playing a 7-mana divination.
It also explores.
Committed killing Panya.
It's 7-mana explore because you get the extra
I guess to be fair, 0-mana divination kind of. But
is it a divination? Is it just
secrets?
Oh yeah. I mean,
so you draw 2 cards and play extra. It's Recall Forgotten Aeons.
Oh my gosh.
Coffee all along.
Yeah, it's even from the graveyard.
God, where are the Panya RFE decks? Why are you playing Panya and your ramp decks, Ricky?
Actually, good question. Did we playing Panya and ramp?
I mean, you could. It's not insane. I mean, Panya is an incredibly strong card.
Well, no, it's not just an RFE. You also get an extra Eureka trigger.
Will Scribble go for it, or will they just go Studies, pass back?
I think they go for it, because otherwise, why do they, because it's just so cool, right?
Response to... You can't...
Okay, good.
No, you can't do that.
I like Nyx's response.
Yeah, would have needed to do it at any other point. They were going to try and kill Panya with things, especially they probably would have wanted to do it on upkeep.
Well, I think it's still fine, right? Because your opponent wastes their entire turn doing the Panya Tail thing, and then Nyx gets to... that's not the right order to do this in, if you wanted the Panya Tail.
I mean, this is a fine order to do it in. Why does it matter when you tail?
Because now the opponent can kill it.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, if you're assuming that your opponent messed up, then sure. I think without the chat messages from Nyx, you assume that they were doing it fine.
Hey, at least, so Nyx loses a clue from this.
That's true.
Yeah, you should have cracked the clue instead of playing Ready for Anything earlier, right? Or am I completely off?
Did they find the dang special off Ready for Anything?
I don't know.
They did. They did have. So they would have had 2 clue. They would have cracked. It's weird because not playing the Ready for Anything there means they don't have a 3rd clue in the first place, unless they play it at some other point. So you'd have to probably go back and you'd have to look at the tape or something. Doesn't Scribble just Cosmic Sinkhole?
But then you don't get the Panya Tail.
Don't, but
I mean, Scribble can sinkhole as well as Secrets Corelight Court onto it, which is pretty mana efficient because the Reprise does add
you can't
sinkhole.
You can sinkhole for 4 here too because of your Lotus Springs.
So you can do it for 5 because of your double Mirgate.
You can.
Holy crap!
I mean, so you can do it for 4 and then still have the mana to Studies. So that's pretty good.
But are you reprising onto it or no?
I think you want to save the reprise for something more important.
You're saving.
And this feels kind of important. A Panya that hasn't tailed yet and it Studies.
Okay, they're reprising it for 3.
4.
Oh, right. Because Secrets count as Cinco color. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I thought you had to pay extra, but apparently you don't because of how Converge works.
That is odd.
Actually, Cosmic Cinco interacts pretty oddly with Cost Increasers as a counter spell too, because it's actually not stopped by Cost Increasers.
Is that how it works with the prize?
Yeah, because it's part
of the same interaction as the Thunder Roads one.
It's weird. Yeah. I think Reprise's reminder text doesn't do it justice there then, because it's like, oh, you just exile it and pay the cost, and it just gives the effects on there. So
I mean, have to imagine it's the same as Splice and Arcane, right?
Yeah, but do you know the rules for splice onto arcane?
no,
Yeah.
you splice and then it splice onto the arcane. I started playing in like the newest Ravnica
what?
block.
Holy crap! Wait, is that
Right.
thoughts?
Right.
They're trying to fizzle the draw off
Is that
secrets.
worth? I don't think it's worth
Okay.
it.
I mean, you have 2 sinkles, like.
Still don't think it's worth it to stop.
I think it's all right.
Pay 1 mana, both players just got a card. Yeah.
Your sinkholes are
fine.
good here.
But you have
I don't
2
see
of
why
them.
you wouldn't want to hang on to them.
Sinkles are a lot less good than multiples, I think, right?
I mean, Scribble does have the mana advantage here. 7 lands to 6. So,
Okay, and
though
that's
immediately, you do kind of want the single with the Panya Tail. So,
well, you have anti-magic with Panya Tail, so it doesn't matter now.
that's true.
Like
Anti-magic.
Nyx wants to make use of their sinkles before they become useless.
So
I guess
this works out really well for Nyx because they've just massively simplified the board here. While getting pretty low on life, 12, which is pretty scary with the Panya in School's hand. I guess the other thing about Panya is that it's Shandun's.
Shandun's command is kind of frightening.
Oh, I guess that's why they have Panya on the board, because lets Shandun's command deal 5 damage out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know if you need 3 Panyas just for Shandun's, but
if you have 9 mana, though.
No, I mean like end of turn Shandun's and then untap and Panya.
Okay, yeah.
And Shandun's is such a crazy card. Still like so good, even at this is the nerf version.
What was the original version again?
3 mana, but the tutor mode put into hand.
Oh right. It was fetching Children of the Clouds.
Yeah, I think even if at the moment you had the tutor version fetched hand, it'd be better than it is now, which is funny. Just because it works so well with Sinkhole and is such a better proactive play.
Yeah. But the upside of making a free cast is that you can fetch Little Pig with this thing. Not that anyone has tried to do that, but hey, it's something you can do.
Some people have tried. Just don't think it's worked out too well. So imagine you backburner the Cosmic Coalescing here.
Now?
Yeah, well, Scribble stopped out.
Are you that worried about the Panya?
Well, it's like, I guess you do it on an end step. But like, just don't give Scribble mana to counter it.
Right.
I don't see why you'd wait.
All right. Nyx is about to see Panya number 2, I think, unless Scribble wants to keep the Panya to trigger the Eureka.
So do you? I guess if Panya gets played here, it gets anti-magic, so that Nyx still gets the coalescing. Tutor.
I mean, that's pretty good because now you got Panya to eat an anti-magic, and now both players are kind of low on cards.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like this favors Nyx a little bit
between
the Clue and End of All Things versus Shandun's and Studies.
I mean, actually, so Nyx kind of taps out, so Scribble gets to slam Shandun's main phase. Do something with that.
For what?
Good question.
You can get
Panya number 3.
Nyx's brain hurts. This might be important.
You can get Studies number 2.
Yeah, but like, seems in my opinion, it's kind of whatever getting second Studies. The only thing it's really good for is like if you then get Najani.
Children of Clouds. Oh, they're using the good art for it too.
The good art. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were also using the good art for one of the other cards, right?
I think all
they had an End of All Things.
Well, there's
the Ajani. I say, Shandun's is only good if you get Najani, and then Scribble does.
The Johnny does kind of want to zero here, but that runs into End of All Things. So maybe not a perfect thing to put Scribble ahead, but damn good draw.
It's one of those things, yeah. End of All Things and Children of the Clouds actually kind of just skunks at Johnny here, because if you make a bunch of tokens, they just beat up a Johnny, and if you go odd, then the birds beat up a Johnny, and if you go even, then End of All Things can exile it. So
Scribble could totally just plus here to hold up Shandun's command.
Well, does Scribble know that Nyx doesn't have counter spells in hand?
No.
Do counters matter here?
Johnny 0. Interesting.
This is why vanished into his.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Yeah, that's another excellent draw from Scribble.
Hey, look, Scribble's finally getting revenge for game 1 when they drew 7 lands in a row. Now they're going to draw 7 spells in a row.
Yeah.
So does this? So what? Presumably, End of All Things kills a Johnny. I imagine Scribble's slightly ahead now. It's gonna take a little bit for Children to actually land. Shandun's will be up to neutralize it.
Yeah.
and also as well as excel and all things in yard.
I feel like if Shanjin's command.
Well, I think now
Wow.
that Scribble is tapped out, you children here because now it can't be.
Well, that school's not tapped out.
Well,
Yeah, that's
They're
the
tapped out
thing.
exactly Shanjuns.
That
but
2 mana
all the
could
others
be.
are-
I think Nick's gonna take the risk here
Is that last card a counter spell?
because Scribble doesn't have a way to deal with a big children's board, right?
do they not?
Not really, no. Who runs counter spells?
Like, what do
I
they
guess you
lose?
can just slam it.
What do they lose if it gets countered?
I mean, I feel like they lose a full ton of Ajani triggers, right?
They are sad, I
But
guess.
they still have end of all things, so like it's not the worst thing in the world. I feel like.
Yeah, I would. It's a tough call.
No, they're gonna kill Ajani while it's still at even.
Okay, gonna just.
I feel like this is a much safer play because I think this keeps you at parity or ahead. Whereas Children is like, if it gets countered, you kind of lose. Like I feel like you go more behind than I guess maybe you do just win the spot if Children resolves there. So maybe that goes both ways.
Yeah. Also, Nick says Void Flare, so like that's gonna kill pretty quickly with Children.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Nick's could have figured out what School's last card is based on what they were doing previous turns.
Sandrine will be
Might
able
just
to
think it's
exile the end of all things.
Yeah. Do you just get like third studies and just try and get third studies, get a token now?
Yeah. Well, it's out of stuff now.
Yeah.
Well, but you don't Shanjuns proactively here, right? You just hold on to it.
Yeah, you know your opponent has Children of the Clouds, and you have to
Also, if they do go for the annual things, you can just Shanjuns for a counter even.
Right, but then now you're not getting the research. You're not Eurekaing that turn.
Fair enough.
Nyx
It is just with the tie off now.
Nyx is thinking pretty hard right now. Wonder what they're thinking about.
Will they want to crack this clue now or later, I guess?
Is that even a decision?
Will they crack it now or later?
Of course you hold it, right? That's how you play these decks.
Oh, but why? What value is there to holding it?
Pretending you have a counter spell.
But you don't have a counter spell.
Pretending you have a counter spell.
Your opponent probably doesn't care about that, right?
Right. So you just crack it now so that you can draw into a land and play it.
Oh yeah, they don't haven't done it with land, right? So yeah, so this was an obvious decision, is what you're saying.
Okay, so I think the obvious choice now is to crack the clue because you have nothing better to do. I mean, technically you can also Children for 3 if your opponent does something that requires its Children for 3. I don't know what that would be, but
yeah, I feel like Children's just so valuable here that you don't want to play it for anything less than like 4. Because at 3 you're probably not winning the game off that, but at 4 you probably are.
And like just holding Children in hand is such a big threat to opponent because that means if they ever tap out, Children happens. Wait, what? Next,
Yeah, they are thinking on Children.
why? Hold the Children's.
I feel like this is a decision you make, or rather you've made in just end of all things thing. Like, I suppose you 50-50 kind of go 50-50 on whether, like, how much value you get out of Children's here. Because even if your opponent has a counter spell,
They're gonna hold. Wait,
we're gonna play it, going to end to play around the Eureka trigger.
I mean, Scribble still can't easily deal with this board, right? They only have single target removal.
Yeah, well, I mean, Shanjuns does some stuff. The second Shanjuns does some stuff. Like, I don't think this was like, I think this was fine, but yeah, I mean, maybe this is the best line, just because this, regardless of whether your opponent has a counter, this is probably unambiguously winning. Is this unambiguously winning? I guess not, right?
You're all stuff now.
6 research counters.
Oh yeah, they're gonna start making the lowest thing, machine gunning down the birds.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shanjuns fetches studies here. That triggers gets a lotus. Shanjuns also kills a bird.
They're not gonna exile the yard.
Wow.
Yeah, might have been better to exile the yard.
I think it's you have a second Shanjin's command, so I think the idea is that even if End of All Things comes out, you just Shanjin's command again, and then blow up the giant creature that's on board.
But that's
because the studies that you
it's not
gets you lotus, so it will give you the mana to Shanjin's again.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense. So Nyx now needs to rip some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, not the right time there.
I don't even know what they can rip here even. I think they need multiple draws to be...
Just draw multiple very good cards.
Cosmic Coalescing. No, it's not Cosmic Coalescing.
Wrong Cosmic card.
It's Cosmic.
Blue Crack?
Oh,
Mind Rib.
Actually, yeah, that card also does stuff.
Is it good enough, though?
I don't know.
Feels like you need Scribble to play into that, which...
I feel like Scribble's going to use Sandrine's command end of turn, which Nyx can
They could also just sit on it.
This
It's kind of like they're winning on
I don't
board.
think you get anything other than a 1-drop, anyways.
You can get a 2-drop.
The only 2-drop worth getting is like Bottle of Lightning.
I mean, that brings Scribble down to 6.
That's true, but yeah. But at 7 mana, you also have, if you get a Johnny, you just win, I think.
How many Johnnies are left in Scribble's deck?
At least
2? Yeah.
yeah.
2. Wait, Scribble just didn't.
Neutralize. Wow.
I think Scribble forgot to activate the Lotus.
Maybe playing around
Yeah.
playing around a counterspell, or not a counterspell, end of all things or whatever.
Yeah, probably, actually.
Holding up Chandrian's neutralize. Do have a couple more turns, but feels like Scribble's. I guess Scribble wins really, really slowly here. So Nyx is gonna have like probably 3 or 4 draws to find a way out of this.
Does Nyx have a second children?
Don't believe so.
They can backburner children, right?
That is true, but not in Chandrian's command. Also not under neutralize.
Hey, they can finally cast End of All Things now.
Do you? You might as well.
No, you keep it up so that you can use it in response to Sandrine's command.
Yeah.
If you do it in opponent's end step.
I mean, maybe Scribble is tempted to just edict one of the birds away because they are getting kind of low right now, and they're
You have time.
like they are in danger of just dying to a giant cosmic coalescing once they run out of counter spells.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's the Lotus.
Ooh, shoot down one of the birds.
Oh. If Scribble Chandrian's like that, then Nyx just wins. So they won't. This is a super close game. Crazy.
Yeah.
This is like a Thanksgiving bowl game right now.
Thanksgiving Bowl? What does that mean?
That's for all the sports fans of the audience.
Ah, I see. You really think we play sports when we play children's card games?
There's someone out there that gets that. I don't even watch that much. It's a football thing. Wisdom of the Ley Lines.
Hey, that's something they can cast.
We were talking about that card like 2 hours ago.
Still hitting runner here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give Nyx a target for a mind rip, which could be pretty bad here.
Yeah. I mean, if you drop 8 on Mind Rip and then just neutralize.
Yeah, but Nyx also has Single here, so.
I feel like if I was Nyx, I'd be End of All Things first, because as a 5/4, it beats up my opponent very efficiently, and it can't really die easily.
And it gets it out of the yard before Sandrine's command hits it.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, so End of All Things here gets neutralized.
I think that's fine because Nyx gets to spend
and then
neutralize.
Does Scribble run out the Wisdom here or hold it up?
No point in running it out, right? Because like you don't care if Wisdom gets countered.
I mean, I feel like you do. Feels like a pretty good card.
You don't think the opponent's going to counter the Wisdom because all it does is draw cards.
Well, you know your opponent still has like 3 Mind Rips in the deck, so I suppose it doesn't give you any Eureka triggers, and that's quite a lot towards a masterpiece.
What's Nyx thinking about now? I think Nyx is just AFK right now and forgot that it's their turn.
Classic.
Oh, wait, what? Right, they can do that, right? I totally forgot.
Just gonna go End of All Things. Have at it.
All right, Scribble, do you want to slam your cards now?
Yes. I guess you probably just slam command here. Get whatever. You can counter with one.
Actually, Sandrine's Edict mode doesn't work because the bird exists. So you have to neutralize it.
For doing a neutralize and edict, right?
Right. Well, they're just going to use the neutralize from hand. And it seems like they're going to let Nyx untap.
Okay. Well, one more live draw here. Nyx is kind of back into it.
Yeah, Mind Rip is really interesting here. Pretty much like if Scribble.
Oh, that's a live draw.
Fire. I think you can just do that. And you hang on to it because there's no reason not to.
So imagine End of All Things is being played end of turn here.
Yeah. Man.
Feeling the lowest.
The Eureka card's making everyone play their things end of turn. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. That void. This is a very interesting situation. I'm loving this game.
Mind you, for 2 also put Scribble down to 4 with a Ball of Lightning, and that's 1 with a Void Flare.
Yeah.
Does Scribble have life
Yeah,
gain?
Chandrian's, but
other than Chandrian's command.
So you Wisdom here.
Nyx Mind Rip that.
Good Mind Rip for how much?
For enough to not get screwed over by counter spells.
You do it for 2 because you don't need the Johnny to turn this game around. Just you get a Bottle of Lightning and then you're in really good shape.
I mean, you can also just grab a Panya, right?
Panya would be kind of nasty.
Panya would be kind of nasty.
Yeah, you can Mind Rip for 1 and grab a Panya.
It just gets exploded immediately though, right?
Oh, by what?
Lotus, but then
Lotus.
that's one
Oh,
Lotus that's
true,
not
true,
being spent for
Lotus.
mana.
So I guess if you want to grab a Panya,
Yeah.
you'd end of all things here.
Gonna end of all things now. And then if Scribble Shanjin's command, then you mind rip the Shanjin's command, get a bottled lightning, and then you just win, probably?
Well, good to play this end of all things first, regardless. Keep up the mind rip for any kind of spells.
Yeah. So
Next.
if Scribble casts Shanjin's command, then you cast mind rip for 2 and just, at least as far as I can see.
I mean, Scribble can also just activate the Lotus and then let the exile happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also losing for Scribble.
Float the mana and let the exile
Mind rip
happen.
hits,
And then you get to Sandrine's, or then let Wisdom resolve and do stuff with the extra mana.
Well, so if they just float mana, then Nyx just mind rips the Wisdom here, right?
Yeah, but then you're fine with
Then
that
maybe
because Sandrine's, yeah.
Gets counter. Wait, yeah, just floats mana.
They get the Sandrine exile yard so that end of all things doesn't come back. Did not see that coming. Okay, now Nyx has to consider whether to mind rip the Wisdom or not.
Yeah, and this works out well for Scribble because they can Shanjune's counter plus XL to hit the end of all things in yard.
Maybe Nyx just lets the Wisdom resolve, and then now Scribble's forced to spend the floating mana before ending the turn, and then Nyx can
I mean, that's so. If you know that your opponent has a Shanjune's hand, that's probably the best option because, like, I think in a neutral game state, you're like okay just untapping with mind rip and sinkhole.
Yeah,
Put a lot of pressure on your opponent. You're not like winning, but then if your opponent Scribble just has a land in hand here and you mind rip, you just win, right?
Yeah,
More or less on the
but
spot.
you want to take that risk? You're already at an advantage right now, right? Because
Well, if you let this resolve, are you at an advantage?
your opponent can't play anything unless they risk running to mind rip, right?
Oh yeah, but they're getting a draw 3 here, and they have 3 studies, research counters going to 4. Like, just letting this resolve, I don't know if you're even. I feel like you're slightly behind.
What if you just Cosmic Sinkhole here?
That seems bad. The Scribble just pays for it.
Let you keep the mind rip.
Well, the thing is that why do this instead of just letting resolve and not doing anything?
Nyx forgot that Scribble was floating mana.
Yeah. This is just a bad situation, right? Because Shanjin's command is like very much the perfect thing here.
So I think if this happens, then Scribble probably is in a pretty commanding position. Would need to play out quite a few more turns to actually win the game, but it seems like they don't have that many lose conditions left.
Hey, Scribble could just top deck 3 lands in a row.
I need to be 4 lands.
Yeah, they could just top deck 7 lands in a row now, and that would let Nyx win.
Nyx does have 15 life, though. Like,
and they're talking about playing Sinkhole before the tap resolves, but that's not how
not how it's mana ability.
Mana abilities are pretty good.
Hey, that's 2 lands off the top.
This Sinkhole is going to be pretty nasty. Another check to the end of all things in yard.
I mean, Nyx can always or Scribble could get careless and then let something get mind ripped.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel like Nyx will need a pretty big mind rip to do stuff, though yet again, they do have a lot of really powerful cards up in the deck. So Ripping and Dang's Displeasure or Cosmic Coalescing or whatnot does help them a lot, but it feels like they will need to draw better than Scribble to actually get out of this.
It's not hard to drop. I was saying that if Scribble keeps top decking lands, it'll be Nyx to get out of this, but it seems like that's not a land.
There's Shanjin's command. That is brutal. Well, luckily,
doesn't have any studies left, so they can't get a masterpiece this turn.
Yeah.
Also means that Nyx can't get studies anymore off the mind rip.
I mean, you wouldn't get a studies anyways.
Yeah, you can just get a Panya off the Sandrines and you'll be pretty happy.
Oh, true.
That is very true.
One shot. The other void player does answer Panya pretty cleanly.
I think you use Sandrine's main so that you can get Eureka on your opponent's turn.
Sandrine's main for Panya?
Yeah, something like that.
I guess that's okay. School obviously doesn't know that it's void player in hand, but good to get it out of hand even if they haven't been suspecting it.
Do you not have Enlightened or Embodied Soul anymore?
That got
no more. No more Embodied Soul, I don't think.
Yeah, that got put to yard pretty early on.
Do you still have Secrets of Corelight Court?
I think 1.
Yes.
All right, that's something you can fetch too. Makes something uncounterable, so that goes against Mind Rip.
Mm-hmm.
All right, main phase Sandrines. Let's see what Scribble fetches. I mean, Scribble can also just gain 5 life.
Tutor and Exile's Grave.
Well, looks
Those are
like
pretty-
we're not going to be able to see Backburner on Trinity Clouds anymore. That's sad. I wanted to see children again this game.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, Nyx has a lot of burn spells, right? Like, they didn't board out Void Flare, and from what I remember, they had Solar Flare in the deck too. So we could just see a situation where Nyx just burns out Scribble if Scribble doesn't gain life after the second Side Dreams.
Yeah, I mean, they did just get a Wayfarer Shrine. They probably will. I can't see them doing anything else with it.
Like, Nyx can just throw off a Void Flare end of turn, and like if Scribble counters it, then whatever, you manage to eat up a counter spell with it. If they don't counter it, then Scribble's at 4, and now they're dead to some burn spells plus the bird attack.
Nyx is still at 15. Scribble has no pressure left still. I think I am gonna drop out of commentary and go get food.
Okay, yeah. If the game's still going by the time you
Quite a
get
long
back,
match.
that'll be.
I'd certainly hope it wouldn't be still be going.
All right. Thanks,
yeah.
Purple. Looks like it's just me and Asti for now.
Yeah, so
Oh gosh.
All right, Scribble goes down to 6, so that's dead to 2 Void Flares, or a Void Flare plus a Solar Flare.
I doubt that Scribble's going to be at 6 for long. See no reason not to Edict gain life here. There's nothing else to get out of your deck.
Yeah, you can get out Anya. Also, the advantage of getting all of your 1-drops out of your deck is that your opponent's Mind Rip per 1 becomes bad. Well, that's a land off the top, so not great for Nyx. They really need the Mind Rip to hit something good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, can they pay for Cosmic Sinkhole now? Like, they can Mind Rip for something big and still pay for it, right?
They can Mind Rip for 2, which does just win them the game, I guess. Because Mind Rip for 2, Auto Lightning, Void Flare. Scribble would have to get the 4th Shanjun's command out their deck, because presumably they're going to counter the Shanjun command.
Yeah, so let's see if Scribble end up turning Side Dreams. I mean, they are going to do that.
No.
No?
Absolutely not. I think at this point, if I'm Scribble, I know my opponent has a counter spell in hand. I am almost certain of it.
All right, time to play out Bygone Guardian so you can start going on offense.
Yeah, I think you just have to do that.
Also, Scribble starting to top deck lands again.
Mm-hmm. See, the tough thing is because if you get up to the next MSEM, this is a. I think I don't see a situation where Nyx loses unless they make a big misplay. Scribble would have to get some good draws because even if you play Bygone Guardian, it's going to take 5 turns to kill. And if you cast anything without like really good backup, Mind Rip just makes you lose.
Yeah. Oh, Scribble's doing something main phase. Oh, we're seeing something. Legendary's command, main phase, tutor game.
Tutoring game.
Is Nyx going to?
For 5. Please, for 5.
Oh.
For 1.
It still grabs. For
5. Just for 5. Don't go any further. Stop now.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Rank equals 2. Okay. Does Scribble have an answer? Scribble can. No, they can't Cosmic Sinkhole this.
Yes, because 4 mana. No, they can. Because Nyx didn't tap the Channeling Stone.
Oh no! Nyx! No, you messed. Oh, that's such a horrible way to lose.
The game's not over. Scribble's still at like 5.
But Scribble might not notice that. They might not notice that Channeling Stone isn't tapped.
Will Scribble notice? Scribble will notice. Because this is the last chance here, I think.
Well, if they let it resolve, then we can say for sure that they did not notice.
There's no way. I think Scribble will notice. Because if I noticed, like...
But we're the commentary team, so like we're not under pressure.
That's true. There's no tunnel vision too, because we're not like focused too much on specific things.
Like I feel like if Scribble noticed, they would have slammed Cosmic Sinkhole right now.
They're probably like running it over though.
What?
It could also be they're like, is there anything I can do? They're probably looking over the board.
Oh.
For 3?
Oh no.
For 3?
For 3? What is this playing around?
Are they just like?
Did they?
I think they're going for a bluff here. I think the hope was like, oh, Sanctuary can't either. No.
Right. We didn't know this. Holy crap.
Oh no. That's it. Because both Sanctuary and Stone can't.
Yeah, and Nyx completely just didn't notice because
that is.
I mean, you just stack all your lands in a pile and you don't really care about what you're tapping until stuff like this happens.
It doesn't matter except, and then when it does, it's the game deciding play. That would be the saddest semifinal game I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Is that right there?
Oof. This is basically the real life version of MTGA's auto tapper screwing you over.
This is the auto tapper. Yeah. I don't think Nyx is dead.
Well, they're not.
it's one of those. It's like because Nick still has the life advantage, still has a creature. But,
The creature's about to die soon.
Scribbles and Eureka. I don't know. Nyx would have to get a really good draw this, especially with nothing in grave.
Panya, yeah, Scribble gets to activate Panya, or no, Panya's gonna die.
Panya is probably gonna die to avoid. There are still worlds, but this game has gone on a lot longer. All of a sudden,
yeah.
All of a sudden, drops the Guardian. If you're next, do you just blow up the Panya?
Of course, you have to.
Yeah.
You're kind of obligated to. In fact, you need to blow up the Panya in order to start attacking with the bird again.
Yeah. I think the inevitable threat of the studies is too much. Unless Nyx gets like ready for anything or something.
Also, keep in mind that Nyx is probably super tilted right now, so that might affect their play.
That's also true. The tilt factor is important.
Oh.
Not good.
Yeah,
not what you want to see.
Yeah, this is just rubbing salt on the wound.
It really is. But still not a... I think Scribble would have to draw 4th Shanjin's command for the game to actually be over here.
Yeah, Nyx can just top deck Solar Flare. Like, they can keep depthing burn spells, and Scribble's dead to 3 of them.
A lot of burn spells, though.
Yeah, but...
We see one... I mean, there's a Void Flare in the grave.
Never mind, Scribble has a 3-turn clock.
Yeah. So, Nyx has to draw good now, which is tough. Plus, I mean, like, Reconsider here means he could get a second Thrice Folded Lotus. I guess that doesn't really do anything, but, like, what else? I guess he probably get Cultivating Spheres at this point. If your opponent does put up a fight. A draw?
Not the card you want.
Not useful. Yeah, that Mind Rip play was brutal.
You know, maybe it's a good thing Purple left before it happened.
Yeah.
At least he didn't have to see it.
Yeah, I think if I lost this game, I think I'd leave the server. Like I wouldn't just leave. I wouldn't go on like sabbatical. I would leave the server.
I mean, isn't that what someone did this GP?
This GP? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like someone in the server left after losing to take a break.
I don't know who did. A lot of people lose and a lot of people lost some amount of games in this GP.
Oof, yeah. Well, you have to keep back the bird now. No, it doesn't matter. Srua just shoots Nyx twice and they die. GG's.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I really feel for Nyx.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's the kind of small thing that's like at that point in the game, you're not even thinking about that at all. You're just like, I have this many lands, whatever. You don't even care about that. And then exactly when you don't care is when it comes up.
I think when you're playing these sorts of decks, you really need to keep all of your special lands in a single pile and like put them off to the side.
It's a small thing, but yeah, I think it is easy to just stop caring about your land at all and just be like, whatever, I have the mana that I need. Bah, I cast card with land that taps for mana. So
yeah,
but
yeah, I mean, this is how the cookie crumbles.
It sure is. Realistically, though, I mean, that was a good showing from that deck. I wouldn't be surprised if I see it again, because I mean, it seems like a really strong deck.
Which deck are you talking about?
5-color control.
Which 5-color control?
Scribble is on Jeskai control.
Right. Is it? Oh,
yeah.
It is mono Jeskai. Well, no, they have Cosmic Synchro, which and they can get 5 colors for Cosmic Synchro, right? So
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Then like Purple's blue-white Juyu deck that runs Lotus Baron and Cosmic Synchro is a 5-color control deck too, and that's just definitely wrong.
But definitely felt like a 5-color control deck mirror in those 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, once you get past like 2 colors, you can stop counting. 2, 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors, whatever. It's a lot of colors. I mean, well, that's the game. Unless you have any other thoughts,
no, not really. I think we're all kind of tired after this 2-hour ordeal. Or no, it's not 2 hours. It's 2.5 hours, right?
2.5. I suppose so. Yeah, because we probably started recording a little bit before the game. We started recording during the game.
Yeah, so it's 2. The Cocker's timer says 2:23.
That is absurd,
man. Yeah,
I mean, semifinal control matchups. Classic.
And remember, we're just commentating. The players have to actually think through all that. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess Knicks had a moment of weakness after 2 grueling hours where they just auto-tapped their lands and then got super punished for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna head out now.
Yeah, I
'cause
agree. So, and hopefully
it's
you
late.
guys are also, I guess you guys are also probably really tired after all this. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you're watching at home, take a good nap after that. You deserve it.
Hmm.
Get a pillow, get a blanket, tuck yourself in. That was a big game, you know. You made it through. That was the Thanksgiving bowl game of MSEM GP Taipei.